All right, so I'm going to bend over for a second. Ross talked about giving out books, and so in the last 4 minutes, I ordered on Amazon Prime Now and got a stack of them. I'm going to get into in a second. All right. How's it going, guys? So I'm wearing like a ridiculous Braves shirt because they're playing today. They actually, first pitch is, thanks, Chris. First pitch is during my speech, so if I just stop and leave, you know why. But someone came up to me this morning and said, is that what you're wearing to speak in? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, you got a lot of guts. Now, the word he didn't use the word guts, but he said, you got a lot of guts to speak in something like that. And I said, well, this is kind of who I am, right? You've heard today a lot of people talk about who they are and making sure that you're authentic to your authentic self, right? So this is me. Another thing that's me is I curse a little bit. So if that's not okay with you, I'm fucking sorry. But I won't say too much, but I might. So let's go ahead and get started. The quick about me, where I promote myself. I founded Lefkoff Law. It's a general practice firm in Atlanta, Georgia. We represent car companies, dealers, finance, repair, repo, auction, as general counsel for those companies in Atlanta and throughout the state. It's important because I get into it in a second and because it's what I do. That's the website, the logo. It's pretty. Gavel is my online course. It's gavel.legal. It is the country's only lawyer-led online course to teach pro se litigants how to represent themselves in small claims court without a lawyer. Okay, so where you have cases where it makes no financial sense to hire an attorney, but the folks don't want to show up not knowing what they're doing, they can go on Gavel and they can take the course, right? And that's a legal product. We're going to talk about that. Then recently, thanks to Jim Hacking and his brilliant guidance, I started something called the Georgia Auto Law Authority, which, unlike Gavel, is free, and it's a lead magnet, also a legal product, but with a completely different focus and different kind of scope. And I'm going to talk about that as well. And that's the pretty logo for that one, and that's at georgiacarlaw.com. We're going to talk about a few things today, 4 to be exact. 1 is mindset. 2 is finding and solving a problem. Number 3 is the structures and the way that I've done it is number 4. We're going to start with a book. I don't know, how many of you guys have kids? How many of you have kids under the age of, say, 10? 10. Okay, so I've got 10 of these copies of this book called Don't Push the Button. It's a classic. I'm going to give them out, but I really only have 9 to give out because I was hungover this morning and offered Brooks one of them. So I have 9 to give out. You guys are welcome to come over and grab one at any point. Leave me one, though, so I can speak. All right, so this book, Don't Push the Button, is a favorite of ours, right? Dave Freeze had that don't spill the milk thing this morning, right? And I hid under my table because I went, oh, crap, he stole my speech, right? In 4 minutes, that guy blew away whatever I'm about to say, over 20, right? So Don't Push the Button is this book where it's a kid's book. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal kid's book. And you get this guy, Larry, right? And Larry is the main character of the book. And the idea is if you push this button, crazy things happen to Larry, right? And so he's telling you, don't push the button because I don't want all this shit to happen to me, right? But if you're a kid and Larry says, don't push the button, what are you doing? You're pushing it, right? Don't spill the milk. All you think about is spilling the milk, right? Thanks, Dave. So I'm doing this, right, with my kids. My kids are now 6 and 8. They think it's just ridiculous now, but they liked it at the time, right? I'm sitting in the room. I'm reading to them, and I say, don't push the button. And my little daughter will reach out and I'll go, nope. Like this. And I'm going further, and God, that's bright. And I'm going further and further and further until I'm running around the top floor of our house. And I'm running, and one of these days, we do this this was one of the books that they want every night. Kids, it's ridiculous. They just, the same thing over and over. But this was one of the books. And so one night, I was in socks, running around the house, slipped and fell, busted my lip, nearly broke my nose, a bloody nose and all. And my wife goes, okay, Steven, I don't think you can read that again. And I'm like, shit, damn, that sucks. I love that book. All right, but that's the button, right? And the idea is, right, again, if you push the button, he changes colors, he splits himself in a million different Larrys show up on the page, and all this stuff happens, right? It's bullshit. It's bullshit, okay? Because There's something that happens when you're a kid, and I don't really know the psychology because I'm not a psychologist. I'm a legal counselor. I'm a therapist, right? I'm not a psychologist. It's very different. That's shit. Because kids, you say this to, and they want to push the button, right? Adults, you say, don't push the button. They go, all right, fine. Right? I'm not going to push it. You have a legal product, right? You have some idea that you want to come up with, right? And someone tells you, oh, you can't do that. The ethics rules prohibit it. It's too hard. You don't know all the software. You don't have the right lighting. You don't have this. You go, fuck, I'm done. Not interested. I don't want to do it. It's too hard. Right? You tell it to a kid, they go, I'll show you, sucker. Right? I'm going to build that thing. So I think that's garbage. I love the book. Right? I think everyone who has a kid should take this. I don't want to take them home. I have one. Right? I have one blood stains on it. So no, I don't want it. You guys take it. If you have kids that are older, take it. Fuck with them. But it's me. But it is. It's bullshit. Okay? So, like, this is one of the pages, right? No one's looking. You should give it a push. Right? But see the bottom there? Pushing the button is the hard part. Right? That's why we don't do it. That's why when we're adults, we're like, we're in our lane. We're good. You're in your lane, right? You hear that all the time. Stay in your lane. Like, you're a PI lawyer. You do PI. Do PI. You're making good money, right? You're a criminal defense attorney. You're doing great. You're a criminal defense attorney. You got tons of clients. People love you. Keep being that, right? Why do you keep being that? Because being something else is freaking hard. Doing something else is hard. And it takes advice, and it takes asking the questions, and it takes trying, and it takes practice, and it takes all of these things that we paralyze ourselves and don't do because it's hard. So we stay in our lane, right? Pushing the button's the hard part. It's easy when you're 4. It's hard when you're 44. So you start to think, okay, right, like, fine, Steven, great, good, grand, whatever, but what can I do, right? Like, okay, I like practicing law-ish. It's fun. I'd rather be at a conference hanging out with all you guys. I'd rather be doing a whole host of different things, but okay, what's a legal product, right? That's one of the main, what is that? What does that even mean? Right, so here's where I came up with mine. Okay, first I discovered a problem, right? And for me, the reason I said it's important that I start off with the fact that I represent car companies is they have a lot of small claims cases, right? Customer buys a car, the engine seizes up, day 7, they sue the dealer for not disclosing a problem, or they want their down payment back, or they want a discount, or whatever. Or people just hate car dealers, right? And then when I tell people I'm a lawyer that represents them, it's like, you can't get lower than the lawyer that represents car dealers, but whatever, that's what I do. I like it. I've found my niche. So I'm sitting in court one day on a small claims calendar, and I'm watching 2 litigants who are representing themselves with no attorney argue their case. And it was a loan that was unpaid, right? Plaintiff loaned her neighbor or friend or whoever it was $6,000. Neighbor didn't repay, so plaintiff sued neighbor, right? Pretty simple. Like any one of us, even if you're Russ and you're an estate planning attorney, you can get in small claims court and argue that one, right? Easy, right? Breach of contract. Paid, didn't pay me back. Plaintiff, who should have taken 5 minutes on her case, took an hour and 45 minutes. She's crying. She's screaming. She's pointing. The sheriff had to get in the marshal had to get in the middle of the 2 litigants because the judge honestly thought there was going to be a fist fight in the middle of the courtroom between them. It was a shit show. Like I curse because it's fun. That really was a shit show, right? And the defendant gets up when it's her case in chief. She says like 3 things. I don't even remember them because I was so traumatized by watching the whole event, which is kind of part of why I like small claims court because it's just fun. But defendant gets up, says her piece in like 4 minutes. Judge rules for defendant. And I'm going, holy shit, like, why did that just happen? Right? It's the easiest case I've ever seen. Judge, it should have been a no-brainer, right? But it quickly dawned on me that the judge hated the plaintiff, right? Just hated the plaintiff. We have clients we hate, right? And people tell you fire them. Well, it's really hard to do sometimes. But you know those people, right? You know those people, and I was watching it happen in the courtroom, and I said, this is not right, right? There's got to be a way for these people to get the help that they need to be able to litigate their case and not lose a case that they should win, right? And so part of What I found was that problem, and I had personal knowledge about it because I was in court all the time for these clients. Right? It was a no-brainer for me. I know this stuff, right? And part of, I mean, Russ was right. You are the smartest person in the room, right? Like, we all discount ourselves. We think, oh, we get intimidated. I don't know why we get intimidated. I don't know the psychology behind all that, but we get intimidated, and we doubt it. We're self-doubters, right? Naturally, a lot of us are. And I thought, okay, I know some things about small claims court. I win cases. Like, I watch other people try their cases. I watch pro se litigants try their cases. But do I really know that much? Right? Do I really know how to answer all the questions? The answer is, of course not. Right? Nobody knows how to answer all the questions. Who does? What I started doing was I wrote down the issues that I saw arise in small claims court. Right? I had like 10 topics at first. I go, okay, I could talk. I could put like something together, a guide. Right? I could put like a PDF or something together for people to help them on these 10 topics. So I start writing them out. 10 turns into 40. 40 turns into 50, right? Jay talks about his systems, right? You'll see if you haven't started making your systems, you'll see how that happens. It's exactly the same idea. You're like, oh, I've got these five systems in mind. But then you write one out, and that turns into 5 more, and then that turns into 5 more. Next thing you know, you have 1,000, right? I don't have 1,000, but Jay does. So I start writing this out. It grows, it grows, it grows, right? And then in this PDF, I start to realize nobody's going to read this shit, right? Like, who's going to read 80 topics on small claims court, right? Like, could you imagine anything worse? Like, truly, I mean, it's like the worst, right? So I kind of start going to the drawing board, right? What can I do to make this engaging, right? Everybody talks about video. I'm like, I'll turn this into videos. That's kind of fun. I'll sit in front of a video camera. I spent 3 days trying to figure out what ring light I should use for my videos. Right? You know why? Because I was convincing myself not to push the button. Instead of just doing it with whatever I had. I was at MaxLaw 2019, right? Kent got up, and there was a speaker at that conference, if you weren't there, and he was talking about like how he shoots video. And then he did a Q&A at the end. And one of the questions was, if I recall it exactly, it was, what lighting do you use? Right? And his answer, Chris, you held it up. Hold it up. His answer was essentially, who gives a shit? Right? Like, pick up your phone and start taking your videos, right? And so it took me 3 days to realize that I'd priced out different lights. I went on Amazon. I went on all the Alibaba, and I was like, oh, if I get this from China, I could save 47 cents. And like, I did all this stuff. But all I was doing was not pushing the button. Right? I wasn't pushing the button. So I said, okay, I've got to solve this problem. I've got to push the button. And Tyson got me there, right? Use the people around you. I had a call with Tyson. He said, why haven't you done this yet? I said, because I don't know, right? It's vulnerable. It's like being on The Bachelor. Every word is vulnerable, right? I felt very vulnerable at that moment. I was like, I don't know why I hadn't done it. He goes, you know what you're going to do? You're going to get on Facebook Live. You're going to push the button. You're going to go live. Because once you do that, you can't go back. Right? How do you do that in front of your 1,000 people, 2,000 friends, however many friends you have? How do you get on Facebook, say, I'm doing this, and then disappear? Right? I don't know how to do that. So I got on Facebook Live for the first time in my life. Never been on Facebook Live before. Pushed the button, thought I'd talk for 4 seconds, like a good lawyer, talk for 20 minutes. And then the plan was in motion. Right, to make this thing. It was in motion. But look, not everybody does it the way I do it. Most people don't, because I'm nuts. But there are a lot of different ways you can do this. You can do this as a product, right? You can actually have a saleable product, like I do. Sellable? For Gavel, where I actually sell the program, right? I make money on this thing. You can have a business, right? Gavel we've created this business called Small Claims Academy. And Gavel is a product in Small Claims Academy. I have all these ideas that haven't become anything more than ideas because I haven't pushed the button to do for Small Claims Academy, but it is its own business. You can do a lead magnet, right? Something that can bring people into your law firm, right? Whatever. If that's really what you want to promote, then you can create things, I'll show you one in a minute, that can help get people to really where you want them to be, if where you want them to be is your law firm. And I said there are a million ways. There probably aren't that many. But there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. So here's how I did it. Like I said, I saw a problem I wanted to solve. I created this solution. I wrote out the idea. I created the content, right? I say this fast like it was so easy. It was really fucking hard, right? But I did it, right? Because I decided I'm going to push the button. And then I'm going to talk. So if you want to know the ring lights, like if you want to get in the weeds, this chart is what I did. And I'm going to talk about Georgia Car Law in a sec because I haven't even mentioned that. But for Gavel, I use a course hosting platform, if you want a course, called Kajabi. It's like an all-in-one solution. People check out with it. It's my landing pages through it, all the, whatever they call those things, the metrics, the statistics, the whatever you want to call them, are all through Kajabi. My logo was done by a company, a local company in Atlanta called Radical Design. I use a Blue Yeti microphone. It's great. It's a friggin' microphone. And then I have a web host through GoDaddy. I know I'm not supposed to use GoDaddy. A lot of people hate them, but I use them, and it's fine. Georgia Car Law, I use a totally different system because Georgia Car Law is a lead magnet for my law firm. It's free. This was a Jim hacking idea, right? Russ says join the guild because people have good ideas. They really, really do. Like, I didn't really come up with any of this stuff, right? This was all people way smarter than me told me to do it, and I said, okay, they know what they're doing. I'll do what they tell me to do, right? Georgia Car Law is through a provider called GetResponse, which is like it's like MailChimp, but for dummies. And I'm a dummy, so I tried MailChimp, but it was way too not dummy for me. The video hosting, I'll show you what it looks like in a second, but it's all through a page called Dub, which is another Tyson referral for me. And Dub is awesome. Like it's a video platform, and when I get like email introductions, right? You all get them. Hey, Steven, meet my friend Hunter. He's a great attorney, and you should totally talk to him, right? And it's like, great to e-meet you. What the fuck is that, e-meet you? So I respond with a Dub video. I hate that. I hate e-meet you, right? You either meet someone or you don't. You don't e-meet. So I respond with a Dub video, like instantaneously. I pop open my laptop, my camera, I take a video. I go, hey, Hunter, it's so great to meet you. My schedule button's below. Please pick a time. And I get so many people. Everyone responds. That was so cool. Right? It wasn't cool. I'm an idiot. It's an easy thing to do. Dub, D-U-B-B, go there. It's really easy. Camera, that's a Logitech Brio. Microphone, believe it or not, the same microphone, it's the same desk. I record these things from the same place. And I built a table of contents on Canva, right? So easy. It's so easy. And same web hosting. It's all through GoDaddy, right? And then I promoted it on Facebook. I haven't done ads because I haven't read the Ads for Dummies book yet. But this is Gavel, right? This is what the Kajabi page looks like. So if you log into Gavel, you get the video here. You can see there's graphics on it. It's a different animal, right? I'm charging for it. I feel like we're lawyers. If we're going to make people pay, we want them to get something they feel like they have paid for, right? And so I charge for that. There's a whole table of contents on the left and the whole nine yards. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have as long as they're easy later about this. This is the Georgia Car Law page on Dub. Okay, you can see, look at that mug. That's me, right, obviously. All the videos are down below, and you can't see it, but below that, there's there's action buttons, right? Because the point of Georgia Car Law is to convince my potential clients that I know what I'm talking about and you should hire me to be your lawyer, right? So that's why I have all the action buttons underneath Georgia Car Law. So again, if you guys have any easy questions, I'm happy to answer them. Hard ones, we'll talk tonight after I've had a couple. But don't be afraid to push the button, right? This is really what it comes down to. Like, be a kid. Be a kid. When someone tells you you can't do something, do it. Because don't listen to those fuckers, right? Like, just don't. Their yeses. Don't be a no person, right? I hate no people. I can't do it. What's up, man? So I got to be careful because y'all are all like movers and shakers in your areas. But right now it's just in Georgia. But the plan is to make it a much bigger program around the country. Is that it? Yep.
Did you start out thinking you were going to tell?
That's a great question. No. So I started actually by one-on-one coaching clients. And the challenge with the one-on-one was, number one, it was too expensive because you had to pay, it was my time, right? And then the other challenge was scheduling. I had to meet with you before your trial, before you filed something. I got ethics clearance, so I wasn't worried about giving advice or whatever. It was the time and the money. And so I thought I can flip this into something more affordable. But the plan, yes, was always to charge something for it. Doing it. Yeah. Oh, you only get one. That's right. It's almost first pitch. Yeah, I said something like that. Did anybody? Is that what I said? Did I say that? Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk to you about it. No, I think there'd be a conflict. I think that I'd have to ask the judge to dismiss their case. Yeah. No, it hasn't come up. But I have gotten clients for my law firm. This was not intended. I'll finish up with this because time's up. But we did a direct mail campaign where I sent out postcards for gavel, and we did it for 3 days. It's just like a trial. And one of the cards, somebody called my law firm and said, I need an attorney, and I found you on Google, and I needed a small claims attorney, and I found you on Google. I have a small portion of my website, of my law firm website. And I said, oh, well, I have a whole program on that. It's called Gavel. They went just like this on the phone. She goes, holy shit, you're that guy? I said, yeah, why? She goes, I just got your postcard yesterday, and it convinced me I need a lawyer. I was like, fuck. I think we need to work on our postcards, right? Like it did not give the effect I wanted. But she hired she hired me at the firm to represent her. So it's all, it's some of this stuff gets intertwined, but it's all about kind of creating that image, right? And who you want to be and who you are. So thank you guys. Go Braves.